Barb, Maple PhD, and in the Northern Hemisphere here right now, it is dark and the holidays have passed and it can seem a little bleak sometimes. And so this time of year, I am often looking for games that just bring a smile to my face. Now, of course, all games should be an enjoyable experience, but here I'm looking at games that just actually make me giggle. And so without further ado, here are the top 3 games that give me a smile. My number 3 is Ex Libris. This is a game where you are basically alphabetizing books on a shelf in front of yourself. You are building out this tableau of cards that have books on them, and they need to be placed in alphabetical order or they will count against you. Well, they'll get flipped over at the end of the game and you don't get the points for them. It's a worker placement game where everyone has, 2 workers that are the same and then 1 with a special power. Although you can play it with no special powers. We always play it with the special powers because that makes it just a little more fun and gives each player a little ability that everyone else doesn't have. But the thing about this game that gives me a giggle are the titles on the books. So I will often have my hand of cards and kind of be trying to plan out my next moves. And then I will just start giggling because I will have read a couple of the titles on the books. And everyone at the table is wondering what I'm giggling about. Of course they know I'm giggling at the titles, but I can't tell them yet because I don't necessarily want them to know that I'm going after the G's, because there might be a spot out there that has another G that I really want before I place this one down, and I don't want to tip my hand to other people. But then when I do finally get to play that card, I will usually blurt out the title and everyone will have a good laugh. And so this is a game where I guess it's the flavor text that gives me a giggle, but who cares? When you need that giggle, this is a fun game to pull out. And then for that reason, Ex Libris is my number 3. My number 2 is Catch the Moon. This is a dexterity game where you are piling up ladders in order to catch the moon. I don't know what the theme is. You're basically have this 2 ladders standing up at the beginning of the game, and then each turn you are adding another ladder to this structure. And you roll a die first to see how the placement has to go. So maybe you can only touch 1 other existing ladder, or maybe you have to touch exactly 2. Or yours might have to be the tallest thing on the structure by the end of your turn. I chose this dexterity game. A lot of dexterity games make me giggle, especially because, as things fall or you're just not sure whether you're going to be able to do something and you're kind of holding your breath and then you place it and then it works and you're like, oh, that's great. This one just feels unique. I know it's not because you're building something up, but you've got these ladders that look stable, and as soon as you start moving something, it will move in a way that you're not expecting. And for me, it's just that little bit of excitement just adds a little more enjoyment, a little more laughter around the table, or sometimes I'm laughing at the other players as they're trying to do their move, or vice versa. Of course, I get laughed at plenty as I'm playing this too. And so for this one, it just brings a lot of laughter to the table, and that is why Catch the Moon is my number 2. And my number 1 is The Great Dinosaur Rush. Now, there are parts of this game that can be kind of cutthroat. You are playing paleontologists during the Great Dinosaur Rush, and you can sabotage each other, which is a little annoying. But the more you sabotage, the more possible negative points you get at the end of the game, so you want to kind of balance what you're doing. But the part of this game that just gives me a smile is when you are building up a dinosaur. So throughout the first part of each round, you are collecting bones. And these are represented just by sticks of different colors. And then you are also publishing in order to make certain features of the dinosaurs worth more. You then have this phase where you are building your dinosaur. You are actually placing out those bones in a way that kind of looks like a dinosaur skeleton. And sometimes when people reveal these, we just lose ourselves in laughter because maybe one of the published goals is to have as many ribs as possible. And so you've got this dinosaur with 1 vertebrae and 5 ribs, and it's just ridiculous. Or maybe you want the longest limbs as possible. And so you've got this impossibly built dinosaur. Or maybe it looks like T-Rex, which should be ridiculous, but isn't. So anyway, it's that reveal of the dinosaurs that you've built that just brings the whole table down. And there are a couple players in my group that I always know will deliver on that. And so for that reason, The Great Dinosaur Rush is my #1 game that gives me a smile. So what about you? What are some of the games on your shelf that just make you laugh or just bring a smile to your face more than any other game? Let me know about them in the comments because I could probably use a few more this time of year. Otherwise, I will be back again with a video soon. Please like and subscribe to my channel so that you know when those videos come out. In the meantime, though, you can follow me on Instagram and Blue Sky as MeeplePhD, and I have a blog at meeplephd.com. We'll see you next time.